E-103 Delta, E-104 Epsilon, rescue mission accomplished. E-105 Zeta, E-101 Beta, location unknown. Perhaps aboard the egg carrier.
Hey interwebs, it's JackitK and welcome for another edition of the Chronological Adventures of Sonic Adventure. Last time, we went into Eggman's base in the Mystic Ruins as Amy Rose to try to find Birdy's family. No luck there, but they do got a lead of where to go next. Before we do that chain of events, how about we spend a little more time with Gamma?
The train headed for Station Square will be departing soon.
No, we're not going to Station Square.
Go to the egg carrier crash site. You might find something.
That is where we're going. And as a reminder, this might have been the more logical time, plot-wise, to get the power-up that we got the last time we played Gamma's story. Just to... it makes more sense for Gamma to be here now instead of make two separate trips up there.
E-Series data. Beginning search. Accessing data. Hot shelter. E-Series location confirmed. Unlocking hot shelter sector now.
Wait, Eggman. So not only did you somehow program your robot to have the capability to just de-own you, or whatever the opposite of own, like de-ownership. Just give him the power to say, oh, he's not my owner, not my master anymore. Not only did you do that, but he still has the ability to mess around with your machinery. I mean, geez, if you're gonna give your robots any sense of free will, at least program a backup so that if they do decide to betray you, the moment things go haywire, they lose access to the ability to activate and deactivate things on your ship on their own free will. Oh, I'm probably overthinking it. I actually do have a theory how all this works with Gamma being able to just say, Eggman's not my owner anymore and that. But I'm gonna wait until later, because depending on how I word it, it might end up being spoilers, so I'm just gonna take the safe route and save that theory for later. First things first, we gotta find where to go next, aka who of Gamma's friends to save by blowing up their robotic bodies.
Your friends are in the hot shelter. Hurry up and rescue them.
Thank you, convenient ball light. So I guess because Gamma's a robot, Eggman's robot, these machines automatically recognize him as authorized personnel, and that's why we can go through the gates without slamming a hammer. But if Eggman had that sort of system in play already, why do you need to make an override switch where you have to either hit with a hammer or a heavy object and just completely bypasses the system? Oh wait, insert joke about Eggman's weight here. Anyways, with that filler joke, I successfully stalled enough time for us to actually get into the hot shelter, so I don't go out of order talking about it. Now maybe I can do this properly, where you get through the door there. Yes. That is why that door is really there in the first place, so you can use Gamma's hovering ability to bypass most, if not all, of that portion of the stage. It just makes me really curious though, because they don't take away that hole in Amy's story. So it makes me feel like if you time it well enough, you could actually get in there. And if it has the same exact items as it did for Gamma, or if they customized it a little bit for Amy's story. Because I noticed the stage layout basically remains the same, if not exactly the same, for better or worse. Lost World. Sorry, I think I got a little off tangent there. Yeah, so the stage layout doesn't change at all, but I did notice that they sometimes change the items that appear in certain spots, like they change around the items. Unless that's my imagination as well. And my point is, I'm kinda curious, is if you can get into that area as Amy, if it would be the same exact type of items as it was with Gamma or not. I guess I would be interested in a video of that.
Cargo station is ahead.
Because, like, I could do it on my own time, but I doubt I would ever be interested enough to actually do it on my own. Anyways, I personally find this to be the hardest Gamma stage. Not necessarily in difficulty that kills you, but with just the fact that it's so easy to run out of time in this stage. Like, this is the only stage I would ever worry about the time limit in. And I believe in all my playthroughs of this game, this is the only stage that I ever got enough time up on. However, like all Gamma stages, as long as you're doing chains, locking onto as many objects as possible before releasing your shots, the time bonus you get for that should be generous enough to get you through the stage fine. I think the only reason I've actually had trouble with this stage back in the day was because I was still young and still grasping the whole idea of using the lock-on multiple targets in order to get the time bonus. I mean, that's the only reason I can fathom. It's way too long ago for me to remember what Stupid Kit meme was possibly thinking at the time. Cause look at that, look at all this glorious seconds we're getting. Look how much time we still have on the clock. I think after this change we may... The fact that, yeah, we were at 2 minutes and 14 seconds-ish. I think that's almost as much time as we had at the beginning of the stage. You know, because I have the power to skim through the recording as I'm commentating, let me do that real quick. Time flash in, time flash out. Okay, so we started the stage off with 3 minutes, so it's not like we've lost no time at all, but this section of the video has definitely been longer than 3 minutes, so we definitely would have run out of time if we didn't target any enemies. I doubt this is the first stage where it's required to destroy enemies in order to get through it in time, but just from my personal experience, this is the one where it's most noticeable. Funny enough that this is the first level that I really had issue with at the time, considering that this is the last level of Gamma stage. And with all of the stuff that they're throwing at me, how could I have ever had trouble with time even on this stage? Look at that, I can't even lock onto all the targets that they want me to hit. Look at all that glorious time. I mean, it feels like we've been at 2 minutes. For at least 2 minutes. Well, I mean it is 2 minutes, but you know what I mean when I say that it's been 2 minutes for 2 minutes, right? Okay, what the heck am I even doing here? Just trying to get the last of the enemies? I probably wasted more time trying to do that. And hey, plot twist! The boss fight is actually going to be different for this level. I mean, it's a Gamma stage, so the same concept of just lock onto everything until it's destroyed still applies, but I appreciate the fact that we're not fighting the same exact formula as we have been for pretty much every boss fight in Gamma's story up to this point. Yeah, granted, he's just as easy as all the other ones, if not easier, but I do appreciate the fact that they took the time and energy to make something a little different, you know.
E-105 data. Rescue complete.
With that, we're done. That was the last level of Gamma's story. Should I say if we got anything else left? or if we're gonna get the credits right now. I mean, I guess you can tell by the fact that there hasn't been a cutscene yet that we got a little more gameplay to go. So let's start leaving the egg carrier, I guess, because the game hasn't given us any other leads on where to go. Move just a little bit faster so I don't have to make it so obvious. I'm stalling for time until the next cutscene, and we're good.
E-105 Zeta rescue complete. Units remaining. Gamma. Beta.
Don't mind the jump cut there. For some reason I thought it would be good to end my recording session off there, despite the fact we're one final boss away from the end of the game. But hey, it is what it is. For now, it's time for EO1 MK2. And as I'm recording the commentary for this, I just realized for the first time that MK2 means Mark II. Holy cow, why did it take me so long to realize that? Okay, as you've seen, if you just try to charge and lock onto him and shoot him, niddle-liddly, he'll just swat away like a fly. Or Link with his shadow balls against Ganon. You make up your own analogy, but what you're supposed to do is when he does his charge attack towards you, wait for him to go past you, and then immediately shoot him. Like right here. And I think it even matters that you have to be behind him in order for this to work. But man, we almost got him down already, and I still have so much to talk about. I swear I'm making this look a lot easier than it actually is. So that whole cutscene we saw before the boss fight, that actually got me a bit when I first played the game, like, surprised me I should say. And between that and the ending of the game just really solidified how solid Gamma's story is, and how I feel is personally the best one out of all the characters. But we already finished the boss fight because I'm just way too pro of this game. So maybe I'll talk more about it when the credits roll for Gamma's story. I really don't want to interrupt what's coming next.
Mission complete.
Or I would talk about my opinions of the ending of Gamma Story. But before we go to the credits and therefore the end of this video, it's really important that I play the last bit of Amy's story. It'll make sense.
This carrier crash site. You might find something.
Dang. Doing this in chronological order can really be hard sometimes. Okay, so unlike Gamma Story, when we actually come to the egg carrier for sake of the plot, we're thrown right into cutscenes, so yeah. It's a good thing I got that power up when I did, because that was the only chance you got to get it. So yeah, Amy Rose actually gets a boss fight. Against Zero. And honestly, this is probably the best way to end it for Amy's story. We spend the entire game... and okay, that's a great start! Especially because I'm like... before recording this, I'm like... oh yeah, Zero, I remember him. He's a complete and utter joke. You just slam him into the electric fence 3 times and boop his head, and that's it. For some reason, when actually doing the fight, and I'm sure the fact that I'm trying to show off the long hammer doesn't help, but Zero's a lot tougher than I remember him being. You might be going, oh, this guy's a joke, and then get booped before you can even get your first ring, and maybe that's just me, but point being, he's a lot harder than I remember. As I was saying though, I just find it such sweet poetic justice and Amy's story off the way we do. This dang robot has been pestering us throughout the entire... oh no, not really. I frickin' got greedy. Actually, I was just showing you guys that you cannot attack him while he's doing that spin attack. You have to dodge him, and there's no way around it. Yeah, that's totally what I was up and doing. So, as I was saying, I just love this fight, if only because we're getting sweet poetic justice against the annoying part of Amy's story. Like, this guy symbolizes all of the things that made Amy's story just complete and utter misery. So, we're basically getting to kill Amy's story in robotic form. And also, I think this is really great for her character development as well. We spend the whole game just running around, getting kidnapped and running, and then this final arc of the game, Amy's like, I'm gonna do things for myself for once, not rely on Sonic all the time. And just the fact that we get to fight the thing that we've been running from the entire game, just really puts a nail in the coffin that Amy has grown as a character and has become fully independent, able to fend for herself. I just really appreciate this character development. Jeez, even the battle call is just perfect, just sums up the whole arc.
Please wake up, Birdy. Are you okay? Can you fly? You did it! Now you three can live in peace again! I'm so happy! I'm going to try my best too! Just watch me! I'll make that Sonic respect me! And by that time it's gonna be too late!
And that's a perfect way to end Amy Rose's arc. She still is really passionate for Sonic, but instead of chasing him everywhere, being super fangirlish to the point of stalkery, she's gonna try to impress him by doing her own thing, standing for herself. Impress him by showing how capable she is. And I really hope they don't take all of this character development that happened in this game and completely dump it as soon as the next one. Oh, why do I make myself... Well, at least they finally got the sense by the time Sonic Boom came around that maybe they shouldn't make Amy a complete fangirl and stalker. But I feel dirty just giving Sonic Boom an easy compliment like that. As true as it is, and as overrated as I seem to hate is. But that's another story for another time. For now, I think it's about time to roll the credits. And since I finished up my thoughts on Amy's story, dive a little bit into my final thoughts on Gamma's story. And since I finished both stories in one video, I got something a little special for you guys. Like it? I figure since Amy and Gamma's story are so correlated at the end, that it only seemed fitting to put them together in this sort of fashion. And now I can finally finish up my thoughts on Gamma's story. So much happened in those last two cutscenes I want to talk about. Plus, I did promise that I would go into more detail about that speculation that I had earlier on in the episode. So, you may notice, whether it be Gamma's story, Amy, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, even Big the Cat. Whenever you destroy a robot, there's an animal inside, and this applies to even the E1 series. I think that's where Gamma's sense of free will came from. I don't know exactly how the roboticized process works. However that process works, I'm certain that the animal that gets put into the robot acts as the brain of said machine, so that's my theory on how Gamma has his own sense of free will. Deep underneath all that programming is still a living creature of his very own running the brain. And that animal that made up Gamma just had more of a sense of free will, I suppose. And that just explains so much that happens. The reason he's destroying the other E1 series and calling it saving is because it's not the machine that he's saving the animals that are trapped inside of the fellow E1 series. That second last cutscene where Gamma goes, "All that's left," pauses for a moment, then goes, "Me." That shocked me at first, but now that I played this game a few times and have the ability to grasp ideas, I realize, hey, he's saying that because he's trying to free himself as well. So even if Gamma didn't take that fatal blow at the very end, he probably would have taken the gun to himself to free himself from the machine. And that's just a really fascinating concept of storytelling. It may seem a little more dark than the other characters, but to me it's not really even dark though, it's just makes you think more. And I could go on even longer about the details, but I haven't even talked about the biggest thing that came out of those two cutscenes. You may just barely be able to see it at the end of Gamma's story, because you only see what the animal that was inside Gamma is for a millisecond. Like, the screen starts fading to black before the animal even shows on screen. But putting it side by side with Amy's story, yeah, the pink bird that made up the Birdy's parents, the Birdy that Amy was trying to help all along, that was Gamma. And the other bird was Gamma's brother. I just find it fascinating. I don't think I got right away why Gamma was so willing to help Amy. But now that I play this game when I'm older, it's obvious. They were family. The animal inside Gamma is trying to help his family. And somehow that strong will overcame whatever programming made Gamma different from the bird. Heck, I guess if you want to get really speculative, just seeing that bird probably override the programming snapped him out of it. And that's why he went from being a loyal servant to Eggman to betraying him and freeing all the fellow robots. I guess if I had to sum up why I like Gamma's story so much, it still captures a Sonic feel, but has so much more to it than you typically get out of a children's video game. Not the deepest, not the darkest, not the most novel-inducing writing in the world, but deeper than you normally get from a Sonic game, and personally, just enough for a Sonic game. I've been JackitK, and we don't got too much left to this game. Out of the 6 characters that are in this game, we've completed the story of 3 of them, all the way to the credits. On top of that, for 2 of the remaining 3, all we really gotta do is watch the last cutscene. We've gone through all the gameplay. Sonic is all that's left. And after we see Knuckles' story come to a close, I think that's what we're gonna do. Stay tuned. Next episode isn't gonna be the finale, but we are very close to the finale. And yes, that's Gamma's ending card. And yes, that pink bird is Gamma. Take care, everyone.